Hey Archery Talk, this is Lucas, and today I've got my early impressions, kind of setup video, I should say, of the new Hoyt Stratos target bow. To those who don't know, the new Hoyt Stratos comes in 4 different iterations. There is a 37-inch and a 40-inch bow, and there's 2 different cam setups you can choose from. There's the SVX, which is the newer version of the spiral cams a lot of you target archers are familiar with, and there's the brand new HBT. The HBT is actually based off of Hoyt's hunting bow cams. The HBX, which you've seen on the RX-7, I shot that last year. I was a little bit surprised that Hoyt went that direction for their hunting bows. In the past, their alternate target bow cam was the the X3 or the GTX cam, kind of same idea. It was a bit of a softer version, a little more easy to handle than some would say the spirals and the SVXs. The HBT again is kind of is more again a hunting cam setup basically, but it's designed more for target bows. And again, I was a touch skeptical about this one, but this is the cam system that Steve Anderson said I should definitely shoot this year, and who am I to argue with Steve Anderson? 1, he's a lot bigger than I am, and 2, he's a way better shooter than I am. So I've got this, had this now, I don't know, maybe about 2 weeks. I've probably put 500, 600 arrows through this already. I've been shooting it a bunch, just trying to get comfortable with it. And I've actually come to really enjoy the cam so far. I think there's still a lot more for me to get out of this, but we'll look at some of the quick details for you right here. So the HBT has a couple features that you won't find on the SVX or any of the other Hoyt target cams we've tried in recent years. And I think front and center on that is an adjustable let-off module. Not even module, just a quick little screw. You can move it in 3 different let-off positions, 65, 70, or 75%. I have been using this at 70% since I got it. I give it a quick try at 65, which is where I've always shot Hoyt target bows, but I just like how this one felt a little bit better at 70. I might change as time goes on. There's lots of tinkering left to do, and I think I'm going to find a lot more ways to get more out of this cam. The other cool thing about this is there's 2 different walls even. So using that same module, you can have either a harder wall or a softer wall. On the SVX, I shot it in the hard wall position. Some folks in the comments, I remember when I posted that video, I should say on the Hoyt Invicta review, that I should maybe try considering moving that into the soft position. So that's what I did on this one. You just flip over the let-off module, basically. You kind of move the top into the bottom and the bottom went to the top, and that gives you the soft setting. If you want a hard setting, you move it back the other way around. And yeah, just so far it's kind of letting me make me feel like I'm pulling through the shot a little bit more early on. So again, so far so good. There's lots to consider. Another bonus on this cam is the adjustability. This has 1/4-inch draw length adjustability, which combined with like the let-off positions, which you can move in those little small increments, and this 1/4-inch draw length adjustability, you can really have micro adjust without messing with your strings and cables. That's a big plus for me. Right now, I'm using this with the 29 3/4-inch draw length setting, and in the 70% let-off, that's giving me 30 inches of draw length exactly. For reference, I ran that through the chronograph. I shot this with two different arrows, a 423 grain gold tip 9.3 max and a 350 grain gold tip platinum pierce at 60 pounds and 30 inches of draw length with this setup. And I shot with the heavier arrow 262 feet a second, and with the lighter arrow 286 feet a second. Again, I don't have a proper arrow to really measure this exactly how you should with a 60-pound bow. I think ideally you'd want to have a 300 grain arrow. I don't have a 300 grain arrow, and I never want to shoot a 300 grain arrow. So these are the ones I've got. It'll give you a general idea. I think I could actually get a little bit more speed out of that if I move this to the 30-inch draw length module and move it to 65 let off. I think that'll still bring me to 30 inches, but it'll probably give me I would guess another 4 or 5 feet a second. I will try to make some adjustments and figure that out in the long-term review video in the coming weeks or months. Down the road, but for now, this is how I've got this bow set up. In tuning wise, it actually tuned on paper very quickly out of the box. I was getting a little left to right tear, so I moved the cams over to the left side just by moving the shims around a little bit, played with rest position, and eventually got a bullet hole, in about 10 minutes of trying. I was finding the bow, though, was a little tough to handle. It was feeling hyper aggressive, which I wasn't expecting out of this. The SVX is your more aggressive cam. And it turns out, if I would have been paying more attention and put this on the drawboard right away, that my bottom cam was hitting a lot before my top cam. So I ended up putting 3 twists into the cable, but 3.5 actually, into the cable to get the cams kind of hitting at the same time. And all of a sudden, the bow felt way better. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thought having your cams hit their stuff at the same time would be beneficial to the draw? And that was the case here. Another thing I'm messing with on this bow is the grip. The Stratos comes with 6 different grips. So I've got I think there's 3 different angles This is the biggest angle at about 6 degrees. I believe it's 6. And there's 2 other options. And then there's 2 different levels of the kind of thickness on the grip. I've got the thinner one here. But why I've eventually chosen to use the one with the largest degree is I'm shooting this bow a lot better with a very relaxed hand, but with a little bit of heel pressure, more than I would used to use on the Invicta. Now that's just me. I'm far from a professional level shooter, so take what I say with a grain of salt. But I really like how that bow feels when I'm ultra relaxed and just kind of pushing out a little bit with the palm of my hand. I'm not really touching the front of the grip at all. That's just how I'm finding it best for me. Again, your mileage is going to vary, and again, I would pay more attention to what the pro shooters are saying than what somebody with my skill set is telling you right now. As for what I've got on this bow, I've got a specialty archery scope with a 6x lens. I've got the setup for indoor, so I'm using their smaller scope setup. I've got a black gold competition sight, Doinker stabilizers, a very old Bright Sight blade rest. I've had this rest for 6-7 years now. Hasn't let me down yet. I'm going to keep shooting it till it does. And I've got a specialty archery peep on here as well. The one that's you can put different lenses in there and different apertures in there. It's a great setup from Specialty Archery. As good as any peep I've ever shot. And that's really what I've got this bow set up as right now. So I'm really just playing around with this at 20 yards for the time being. And then my goal is I'm going to kind of try to improve my indoor game. I say that every year. My indoor game is not awesome. And so I'm going to use this Stratos, and maybe if I get another target bow in there, and do the same thing with that one and try to figure out what I can do better. But I think that's about it for now, Archery Talk. I am going to follow up with a full long-term review of this bow. I'm hoping to do maybe at least a head-to-head shootout or maybe a 3-bow target shootout this year. It depends what I can get in my hands from the manufacturers. I'll see who wants to loan me a bow. And I guess that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel an awful lot, and we'll see you soon.